Alright everybody, what's going on? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And as of very recently, after much thought, much processing in my brain, and taking all sorts of things into consideration in terms of what the community's saying, what my experience was, and everything in between, I kind of had this Call of Duty epiphany. Oh, and by the way, in this first gameplay here, I guess the game freezes after a certain point. I guess I broke the game. I guess I was getting kills way too fast and it kind of froze or whatnot. I thought that was kind of funny, so I thought I'd include it in this gameplay here. And then after that, before I started recording, when I was done with playing with this session, I was basically like, I realized that I forgot to turn on my capture device again because my capture device has been pooping lately. So I have to restart it, but I forgot to restart it like a dumbass. I would have had a lot more gameplay. But with that being said, you're not misreading the title. This is not a troll title, and I'm going to go more in depth. And yes, you are reading the title correctly. Call of Duty World War II is better than Modern Warfare 2019. And before today, I've definitely known that, and I definitely, even though I wasn't always fond of World War II, and there's still things about the game that kind of have me a little bit towards the I don't enjoy it as much as I know I could, but at the same time, with free-for-all and with some additional experimentation with classes and stuff like that, I have come to realize that there was one aspect of the game that I was playing that was wrong with accordance to my playstyle. But with that being said, I mean, the game obviously still has its fair share of problems, like, for instance, this map and the spawn system being a little meh. But it's definitely not the worst, especially when you compare it to Modern Warfare, and there is a method behind it, so I'm kind of continuing to process as I go along. And as you can see, the game kind of froze. It was a quick way to get 17 kills within 2 minutes, in less than 2 minutes, which is pretty good for World War II, which is much slower paced. But what caused me to think this way? Am I being a Call of Duty cocksucker by saying that sort of thing? Am I being unpredictable Jack and just constantly changing my mind? It's like, no, not really. I'm just saying what I feel. And after a while, sometimes your opinions, when you start to realize things that you didn't know before, or learn things that you didn't know before, as well as new things happening, like I'm gonna go in depth in terms of what this new thing that happened was. Well, it's very simple. I was playing Black Ops 4, and again, I don't hate Black Ops 4, but what happened was I was really starting to get enough and annoyed with the cheese that game had. Like, that game was basically like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich that had like way too much freaking cheese, and to the point to where it wasn't even like a Philly cheesesteak sandwich anymore. There wasn't enough there wasn't enough steak, but there was a shit ton of cheese, right? Now, I understand that some people like their Philly cheesesteaks extra cheesy or whatnot to where they can barely notice the steak. I understand that. But when you're looking at what makes a Call of Duty game a good Call of Duty game, again, not being biased here, just looking at it from every single perspective, which is why I was basically saying in the earlier part of this commentary, was that I was basically looking at it from every perspective, like not just my own and not just my own experience, because a lot of people have said that this game is basically a gem, an underrated gem. So, and I could see where they're coming from, because it came to a point to where I was having enough of the Black Ops 4 cheese. I was having enough of the bullshit specialists. I was having enough of dying to the strobe light of justice, so to speak, that a lot of people use. I mean, if you want to beat somebody in free-for-all, that's what you got to use. That's what you use. With the acoustic sensor being stupid overpowered, you've got people that also do mods. I have ran into those as well. So, and all the different kinds of cheesy class setups, the randomness of how you can get killed by specialists, everything like that. So this game overall, when you look at it from what a Call of Duty game is supposed to be, is closer to home, and it gets a better grade for that. And it's more balanced. Now, granted, like I said, this game has its fair share of problems, just like other Call of Duties have, but when you look at it from every single perspective, as well as the replay value of this game, like, this game will keep you busy forever if you're trying to unlock every single fucking variant and weapon that this game has to offer. Seriously. And also, I have to actually commend Sledgehammer Games for actually, the creative class is something new. It's not like pick 10, obviously, right? They tried to obviously improve from Advanced Warfare, and they actually did for the most part. And the thing is, with the create a class system, it's almost perfect. The only thing that I disagree with is that I wish that the create a class system would allow you to have 2 basic trainings instead of 1 by default. And then obviously the cavalry division, or whichever division it is that allows you to have 2 basic trainings, would have 3 by default instead of 2. So that would be the only thing, in my opinion, that would keep it from being perfect, in my opinion. But there are still a good amount of players that play this. I mean, even like, especially ever since the overhaul, the game became obviously better. But again, there were little things that were kind of pissing me off with that game, and it really got to a point right with the game when it was during its life cycle or whatnot. So it really took me basically, like, it took both the combination of the Modern Warfare experience, which I dislike more than any other Call of Duty that's ever been made. So between what I was experiencing in Modern Warfare 2019 when I did play that game from beta, and then the little that I did after the game released, I'll tell you what. And then obviously after playing a ton of Black Ops 4 over the last year and a half or whatever it is, I had enough cheese with that game. So when you put those two things together, that's what it took for me to appreciate what World War II actually tried to accomplish. And when looking at it, for the most part, they actually did accomplish it. So and now I have a much better understanding as to why a lot of players really like that game. Now, again, I am still going to stick by my original opinion in terms of the part of the game that I dislike, and I still am kind of wrestling with it. I'm still trying to kind of understand the game a lot more, so that way I can become better, and so that way my play style, the way I like to play, becomes more viable. Because the thing that I hate to do the most in Call of Duty is change my play style or slow down so much to the point to where it's not fun to play, which is, again, the primary reason why I don't like Modern Warfare 2019. So, but with this game, though, I have figured out a few ways to do that, and I'm actually enjoying experimenting with classes. I'm enjoying the score streaks are obviously weak, but, like, if you look at from how community-friendly Sledgehammer was, I mean, they brought back specialists. I mean, look at Treyarch. Treyarch is so cocky, and for how many years now have we been asking Treyarch to give us a nuke after a 25 gun streak, as opposed to just like a 30 gun streak calling card? For how many years have we been requesting that? But Treyarch keeps on denying us, right? But Sledgehammer Games has always been humble enough to take something from one of the other studios and apply it in their own way into the game. Like, for instance, Specialists. They brought back Specialists in this game, and mind you, they did it, I believe, after the game's life cycle, or towards the end of the game's life cycle, if memory serves correctly. So, I mean, at least Sledgehammer Games was extremely community friendly. And then sometime after the game's life cycle, they just released all the DLC weapons for free or whatnot, or they unlocked them, because I think there was a period of time to where everything would be locked except for one category, and then they just basically unlocked everything and say, hey, have at it, go for whatever weapon you want, whenever you want, grind the game. So when you look at it from a community standpoint, from a pub standpoint, and what they tried to do with the create a class and the amount of replay value with the game, and in terms of the amount of noise that this Call of Duty makes, which is not a lot, it's a game that's a lot less annoying than Black Ops 4 and a lot more playable than Modern Warfare. And they really did a pretty good job with their attempt to appeal to every single kind of playstyle, because the maps are like 3-lane maps. But at the same time, they did offer a few more safe spaces than usual, which is one of the things that annoy me with this game. But again, I'm slowly but surely spending more time with the game and trying to figure out ways around that. So, and basically the way that I figured out the ways around that are basically just do not go in those areas and just go run and gun and kill other people. But it's past the game's life cycle, so I'm not going to go into, hey, this class is very effective or whatnot. I mean, it's way past that. But long story short, though, I will say that overall, as a Call of Duty game, again, not being biased in terms of what I prefer, I'm just saying as an overall Call of Duty game, and I know what a Call of Duty game is. I've been playing it for nearly a decade, much less covering it for 5 years here on YouTube. As an overall Call of Duty game, World War II is better than Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops 4. So anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Would you put? How would you rank those 3 games? Would you put Modern Warfare in second place, third place, first place? How would you do it? Let me know down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the commentary. And as always, guys and gals, for those of you that are gals that watch my stuff, which is probably like 1% of you, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better. I hope you guys stay safe out there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.